Welcome back to my channel. So you've probably been told that if a woman's not interested, there's nothing you can do, that attraction is either there or it isn't, but that's not entirely true, and today I'm going to show you exactly why. Welcome back to the channel. If you're tired of being the guy who chases the guy who waits for a reply, or the guy who constantly wonders if he's enough, this one is for you, because this isn't about tricks or pickup lines. This is about understanding something deeper. How attraction works on a psychological level and how to flip the dynamic in your favor even when she seems disinterested. Now here's where it gets controversial. Most women are conditioned to believe they're the prize no matter who they are or what they bring to the table. Society feeds that idea nonstop, and because of that they walk into interactions already believing you're going to want them, chase them, and prove yourself. But the minute you stop playing that script and instead become the man she has to qualify herself to, everything changes. You go from being background noise to the signal she can't ignore. She starts chasing you, and that's what we're breaking down today: the mindset, behaviors, and subtle shifts that make women pursue you even if they didn't see you that way at first. It's not about manipulation, it's about reversing your soft conditioning, where men were taught to beg for attention instead of commanding it. So stay locked in. Number 1, stop giving her free one. Stop giving her free attention. Attention. One of the biggest mistakes men make without even realizing it is giving women constant unearned attention. This is the fastest way to kill any chance of attraction. When a woman knows you're always available, always complimenting her, always replying fast, always watching her stories or liking her posts, she stops seeing you as a challenge. And if there's no challenge, there's no chase. Women don't value attention they didn't have to earn, and most guys are handing it out like candy, hoping it'll make her like them more. Beauty it does the exact opposite. It makes you look predictable, emotionally needy, and worst of all, boring. Attention is power, and if you're giving it away too easily, you're telling her that you have nothing else going on. You're telling her she doesn't need to do anything to keep your interest, so she won't. The guys women chase are the ones who don't throw attention at them 24/7. These men make women wonder what they're thinking, what they're doing, and who else has their focus. That mystery alone builds interest, not because you're trying to play games, but because your attention is rare and therefore valuable. Let's say there's a guy named Marcus. He meets a girl, she's beautiful, flirty, and at first he's tempted to text her every morning, react to all her photos, and stay in her radar constantly. And instead Marcus flips the script. He doesn't flood her with compliments, he doesn't message her unless there's something to say. He keeps the conversation fun but short, and then he disappears for a while. She notices, she wonders why he's not acting like every other guy, and soon she's texting him. First she's checking if he saw her new picture. She's chasing not because he manipulated her, but because he didn't make his attention cheap. That a key way is simple: your attention should be earned, not handed out. Women respect the men who don't make them the center of their world immediately. The less freely you give it, the more she'll want it. Number 2, act like she's not special. A2. Act like she's not special. Lot of guys don't even realize they're doing this, but the moment they meet a woman they find attractive, their entire energy shifts. Suddenly she's treated like she's above the rest. Their tone changes, their effort doubles, and everything becomes about keeping her interested. That's exactly the kind of behavior that makes a woman lose interest before anything even begins. The truth is, most attractive women are used to being treated like royalty just for showing up. They don't have to earn anything. Guys trip over themselves just to get their number or make them smile. It's not new to them, it's boring. So when you're one more guy adding to that noise, you become forgettable. No matter how genuine or kind you are, you won't stand out if you put her on a pedestal from the start. When you act like she's not special, you break the pattern. You show her that you're not easily impressed, and that throws her off in a good way. She starts paying attention, she starts wondering what makes you different. That's where curiosity grows, and once she's curious, she starts investing. Now this doesn't mean you're cold or disrespectful, it means you're treating her like any other person, someone who still has to earn your interest, just like you have to earn hers. When you hold yourself to that standard, you flip the dynamic. You're not chasing her, you're evaluating her. You're seeing if she fits into your world, not begging to be in hers. Most guys can't hold that frame because they've been taught that showing immediate interest and admiration is the way to win a woman over, but women are wired to chase men who don't give their approval so easily. If she senses that you give her special treatment just because she's attractive, she'll Stop putting in effort. What really shifts the game is your mindset. You have to believe that no matter how beautiful she is, it doesn't guarantee her a spot in your life. Your energy, time, and attention are valuable, and not everyone qualifies for it. When you carry yourself with that kind of quiet confidence, it speaks louder than words. She's not special until she gives you a reason to see her that way, and when you live by that, she'll feel it. That's when the dynamic flips. She starts chasing the validation you're not handing out, not because you're replaying games, but because you respect yourself. Number 3. Create distance on purpose. 3. Create distance on purpose. Let me tell you something most men don't realize until it's too late. Closeness kills the chase. It's counterintuitive. I know you'd think that being more available, more attentive, more emotionally present would pull her in, but the truth, closeness when it's not earned makes you predictable, and predictable men don't spark desire. See, women don't just fall for men, they fall into mystery, and mystery lives in space. When you create intentional distance, not as a game but as a standard, you trigger something primal in her. That distance doesn't push her away, it pulls her in, because now she starts to wonder, where is he? What's on his mind? Is he losing interest? Am I losing him? And that tension, that emotional friction, is what ignites her curiosity. Curiosity becomes craving. Craving becomes chase. Now let's get real clear on something. I'm not talking about ghosting. I'm not talking about punishing her with silence or going cold to manipulate her. That's childish. I'm talking about creating space through discipline. You step back because you have a purpose to pursue. You don't reply immediately because your time is structured. You don't overshare because your emotional world is private, not public. That's what distance looks like in a man who knows himself, and women notice it instantly because most men can't do it. Most men are in constant validation mode, texting nonstop, always checking in, always available, which makes them disposable. But the man who walks away without drama, the man who can be alone without looking lost, that man becomes unforgettable. Now here's where Stoicism comes in. A Stoic doesn't chase noise, he centers himself. He lives from the inside out, and because of that he doesn't panic when things get quiet. He doesn't cling when things feel uncertain. He understands that space is not rejection, it's power, because that distance, when used right, forces her to reflect. She starts thinking about what she said, how she acted, whether she's meeting your standards. She starts evaluating herself through your calm withdrawal, not because you're manipulating her, because you're leading. And let's be honest, women chase men who lead with silence more than men who follow with noise. Let me paint a scenario for you. You've been talking to her for a few weeks, the connection's good. She starts getting a little distant. Instead of chasing, you back off. You don't blow up her phone, you don't double text, you don't ask what's wrong, you simply live your life. You go to the gym, you focus on work, you read, you think, you train, you build. She feels it, she feels that emotional vacuum, and because it was created by a man who has depth and options, she fills it with her attention. She reaches out, she tries harder, she chases. That's how distance flips the dynamic, and this works not because you're doing less, but because you're doing it with control. Remember this, the man who creates space on purpose will always be more attractive than the one who fills it in fear. So the next time you feel the urge to close the gap too soon, pause, ask yourself, am I closing this space for connection, or because I can't handle the tension? Because if it's the second, you're not leading, you're leaking. And women don't chase leaks, they chase strength. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. I've seen what distance does, and if this part of the video hits something deep in you, don't forget to subscribe and become a member. This channel isn't for boys who need approval, it's for men who know their value and live like it. Number 4. Let her feel replaced. Let's get brutally honest for A4. Let her feel replaced. Second, nothing makes a woman chase harder than the possibility of being replaced. That moment when she realizes she's not the only one who could have had your attention, that you're not sitting by the phone waiting, that you're not spiraling, overanalyzing her texts, noyery already gone. You've moved mentally, emotionally, even physically, and maybe, just maybe, someone else has your attention now. That realization, it hits her like a storm, because here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't miss the guy who begged, they miss the one who didn't flinch when she pulled away. See, most men, when a woman loses interest, they double down, they try harder, they ask, what did I do wrong? They apologize for things they didn't even do. But the man who lets her feel replaced doesn't explain, he doesn't announce anything, he just disappears gracefully. Now don't twist this. This isn't about playing games, this isn't about lying or parading new women in her face to get a reaction. That's Insecure energy. This is about shifting your center of gravity from her to you, because once she feels like she's no longer your priority, something primal kicks in her ego. To Kisa hit, her curiosity spikes and her emotional mind begins to question everything. Was I not enough? Why didn't he fight harder? Who's giving him what I didn't? And in that space of uncertainty she starts to chase. Now from a Stoic mindset, this isn't revenge, it's restraint. It's understanding that attraction grows in absence, not in overexposure. The Stoic man isn't cold, he's composite, knows his energy is valuable, so he gives it only to what reflects his values. And a woman who disrespects, manipulates, or pulls away for attention, she doesn't reflect his values, so he builds, he evolves, and maybe without needing to say a word she feels it. Let me give you a real-world picture. You're dating a woman, it's been good, but suddenly she starts acting distant, not replying like before, flaky with plans, giving you breadcrumbs. Now the average guy, he gets anxious, he tries harder, hesitates, flowers, he asks, what's wrong you? You vanish from her emotional radar, not in bitterness, not in anger, but in dignity. You stop texting, you stop explaining, you stop chasing, you redirect your energy back to yourself, your gym, your business, your brotherhood, your purpose. And just when she thinks she's got all the control, she feels it. She checks your story and sees you out, focused, grounded. She doesn't know where your heart is anymore. And that's what drives her crazy, because once a woman feels like she's been replaced, she questions her place in your world, and if she ever valued that place, she'll come running back to reclaim it. But here's the catch, you're not doing this to bait her, you're doing this because you refuse to beg for what should be freely chosen. Attraction isn't something you negotiate, it's something you radiate, and nothing radiates stronger than a man who can walk away and not look back. Now I want you to lock this in. The man who replaces her peace with mystery wins. Let her feel replaced, not through drama but through your absence of need, because once she feels like her spot wasn't guaranteed, she'll either level up or fall behind, and you'll keep rising regardless. Comment below, I've walked away before, and if this part spoke truth to you, subscribe and join the brotherhood. We don't chase validation, we build value. 5. Show interest, then pull back. Number 5. Show interest, then pull back. Let's talk about one of the most psychologically powerful dynamics in attraction, the emotional whiplash. Not in a manipulative way, not to hurt, but to stir something deep in her instincts. You show interest, you lean in just enough for her to feel your energy, then right when she starts leaning back, you step away, not cold, not distant, just calm, composed, mysteriously busy. That subtle shift, it does more than hours of flirting or validation ever could, because here's the truth, women are wired to chase emotional contrast. When everything's too predictable, too available, too easy, it feels safe but not seductive. Let me paint the picture. You meet her, you're V-base calm, she feels your presence, you don't try too hard but you're clearly into her. You listen, you laugh, you connect. Then the next day she texts and you don't jump at the buzz, you take your time, you get back to her when you're free, not when you're idle. You're showing her interest but you're not smothering her, you're not anxiously texting good morning and good night, you're not just checking in to keep her thinking about you. Instead you're giving her something she didn't expect, space, and in that space something powerful happens. She starts thinking, why did he pull back? Was it something I did? Wait, is he losing interest? That's when emotional attachment begins to form, not because of what you gave her but because of what you took away after offering just enough. Think of it like fire. You don't keep throwing logs on a fire every 10 seconds, you let it breathe, you let oxygen stir the flames, and that's what pulling back does. Now here's where most guys screw this up, they either chase too early or pull back without first showing genuine interest, and both of those create disconnection, not attraction. But the man who leans in with confidence, shows his warmth, offers presence, then respectfully pulls back into his own life, that's the man she remembers. It tells her, I like you but I don't need you, I'm open to you but I'm not empty without you. That's rare, that's powerful, that's masculine restraint from a Stoic perspective. Thesis, emotional mastery. You're not being reactive, you're not driven by fear or floss or the need for constant reassurance, you're grounded in your values, you're generous with your energy but never reckless, and that's what makes you magnetic. Here's an example. You go on an amazing date, she lights up, there's tension, you both feel it. The next morning, don't send a 5-paragraph I had a great time essay, instead you send nothing. Then maybe the following afternoon you drop a calm, confident message, had fun last night, you've got a bold energy, I like that. Then you disappear again. You're not punishing, harriery, giving her time to wonder, to crave, and that craving doesn't come From validation it comes from contrast. Every time you pull back you force her to reflect on her own desire, on how much your presence meant, on what it feels like when you're not around, and when a woman starts thinking about you in your absence she starts chasing you in your presence. Now let me be clear, this isn't about playing games or being manipulative, it's about emotional leadership. You set the rhythm of the connection, you pace it because you're not here to overwhelm her, you're here to stand out from every man who's trying too hard to stay in her life. Show interest, be real, then pull back into your purpose. Let her feel your warmth, then miss your fire. That's when desire is born. Comment below, I've done this and it worked. And if this message hit home, you know what to do. Subscribe and stay sharp. We're not chasing approval here, we're mastering attraction. 6. Make her compete with your lifestyle. Number 6. Make her compete with your lifestyle. Most men try to make a woman the center of their universe. They cancel plans, they rearrange priorities, they pause their mission, all in hopes she'll stick around. But here's the truth, a woman doesn't want to be your purpose, she wants to orbit it. She doesn't fall in love with a man who drops everything for her, she falls for the man who has something going on. She has to earn a place in his world, and that's what making her compete with your lifestyle really means. It's not about playing games, it's not about acting too busy, it's about actually being busy with a life that fuels you, a life that inspires you, challenges you, and stretches you. And when a woman sees that, really sees that, she leans in, she adjusts, she tries harder, because now she's not just winning you over, she's competing with the passion you give to something bigger than her. And that competition, that's where obsession begins. Let's break this down. Let's say you've got a man who's on his path, he trains, he reads, he's got purpose, he leads a business or a team or a mission. His time is protected, he doesn't check his phone 24/7. She has structure, direction, boundaries. Now enter the woman, she's curious, intrigued, he gives her attention, but only within the framework of his life. He doesn't cancel gym for her, he doesn't flake on a meeting just to call her. He doesn't spend hours texting instead of building his vision. She's not being ignored, she's being shown that if she wants more time with him she'll have to bring something real to the table. That dynamic is electrifying. Why? Because biologically, psychologically, women are drawn to high-value men, men who lead, men who move, men who pursue meaning. A man who lives for her quickly becomes boring, but a man who lives for something greater, he becomes unforgettable. And here's what most guys get wrong, they think making her compete means creating jealousy. Number, you don't need other women to make her feel replaced, you need a lifestyle she could lose access to, a vibe, a mission, a presence. When she sees you're lit up by your craft, your discipline, your goals, she starts wondering, am I adding value to his world? And when a woman starts questioning her value in your world, that's when she starts investing. She dresses up a little more, she plans dates, she makes sure her energy is felt, because you've built a frame of earned intimacy. She's not entitled to your time, she's rewarded with it. From a Stoic lens, this is power through presence. You're not cold or arrogant, you're simply anchored in your path. You don't adjust your core to gain someone's affection, you hold your center, and that center is what pulls people in. Here's a real life scenario. Let's say you're building a business, you're locked in. Mornings are for deep work, afternoons for fitness, evenings for connection. A woman wants to meet at 10 a.m. For coffee, you say, I've got a window at 1:30, let me know. That alone sends a message, it says, you matter. But so does my mission. It also says, if you want access to me, you step into my reality, not drag me into yours. And here's the beauty of it, the more you live this way, not perform it but live it, the more magnetic you become. Because women don't fantasize about the man who waits around, they dream about the one who's so dialed in that getting his attention feels like a win. Comment below, we won't shrink my world for anyone. And if you're feeling that shift, stay right here, we've got more power to unlock. Number 7. Reward her effort, not her 7. Reward her effort, not her looks. Looks, let's be real, she already knows she's attractive, she's been told since she was 12. She's got hearts in her DMs, strangers open doors, waiters smile longer, men stare too long. But if you want to be the man she remembers, don't reward her looks, reward her effort. That's where you separate yourself from the crowd. Most guys go straight for the obvious, you're so beautiful, damn you're hot, you're the prettiest woman I've ever seen. And what does that tell her? It'll show you're just like every other guy, hypnotized by surface. Now flip the script. What if you said this instead? I noticed how you stayed off your phone all night, or you're really thoughtful with how you listen. Suddenly you're not validating the exterior, you're calling out the invisible, you're making her feel seen. And here's what most men miss, what a woman craves isn't attention, it's depth. She doesn't want to just feel wanted, she wants to feel respected for how she shows up. That means Noticing effort, noticing how she tried, how she followed through, how she handled something difficult with grace. Now think about this: if a woman invests in you, plans something, gives thoughtful gifts, makes time, brings peace into your space, and all you do is comment on how sexy she looks, you're training her to prioritize surface. But if you anchor your attention in her behavior, her consistency, her growth, you're giving her something rare, meaningful recognition. This is where desire deepens, because now to get your approval she has to step up, not just show up. She starts thinking, how can I impress this man beyond my body? And that's when she starts to fall, because she sees you're not fooled by fantasy, you're anchored in reality. Let's take it to a Stoic lens. Stoicism teaches us that virtue matters more than appearance. Marcus Aurelius didn't chase women because they were pretty. He valued discipline, kindness, patience, resiliency. So when you lead with that standard, you filter, you attract women who want to bring more than a pretty face to the table. They bring presence, insight, strength. And if you're a man on a mission, you need someone who complements your clarity, not distracts from it. Now here's the twist: it's not about never complimenting her looks, it's about timing. Do it sparingly, do it when she's least expecting it. Do it after you've praised something deeper. That way it doesn't feel like flattery, it feels like a gift, a bonus, not the currency you trade for attention. And here's a trick: the next time she looks incredible, hold eye contact and say nothing, just look and smile. Let her feel your presence, not your approval. That silence, that restraint, it'll drive her crazy, because you're not just another man melting over beauty, you're the one who sees beyond it. You become the challenge, the man she can't read, the one who rewards what most men ignore. That is what makes her chase, that is what she never forgets, because women are used to being praised for what they were born with, but when you praise what they choose, you unlock a different level of connection. She starts rising to meet you, she starts bringing more, she starts chasing the respect you reflect. And when that happens, you're no longer just the man she likes, you're the man she remembers. Comment below, I reward effort. And if this is hitting something real for you, don't move. What's next will show you how power really works. Number 8, she wants what she can't fully have. Let me 8. She wants what she can't fully have. Tell you something brutally honest: scarcity seduces, it always has, and it always will. You want to make a woman chase you, don't hand yourself over on a silver platter. Don't let her feel like she already has you in the palm of her hand, because the moment she feels total ownership, the chase ends. Here's what most men don't understand: desire thrives in uncertainty, and the minute she knows exactly where she stands, exactly what you'll do, exactly how you'll react, she starts to pull back, not because she's cruel, but because the mystery is gone. What pulls a woman and what keeps her energy pointed at you is that emotional tension between does he want me and am I losing him? That space, that's where her mind loops. That's where she thinks about you at night. That's where the chase lives. Now let's be clear, this isn't about being a jerk or playing games. It's about preserving your edge. It's about staying unpredictable in a world where most men give it all away. In week 1, you don't need to disappear, but you do need to remain just out of emotional reach. She shouldn't feel like she has access to every inch of your inner world. She shouldn't feel like you'll always be there no matter how she shows up, because the second she's certain you'll never leave, she stops trying. Here's a real-world example. Think about a guy who never cancels plans, always replies instantly, showers her with compliments, and makes her the center of his world. At first she's flattered. Then she's bored. Why? Because he's completely available, and full availability doesn't feel romantic, it feels predictable. Now flip the script. Imagine a man who listens, connects, and shows interest, but then he's back to his own world, his business, his mission, his personal growth, and she's left wondering, where's he at? Is he thinking of me? Did I mess up? Is he seeing someone else? That's when she starts to chase, because now she's not just attracted, she's invested. She wants to solve the puzzle. She wants to get back into your orbit, and the more she works to close that emotional gap, the more her desire builds. Stoicism teaches detachment, not coldness, but control. Control over your emotions, control over your availability, control over your own attention. So instead of craving closeness, you master the art of space, and that space becomes power. It's the same principle ancient warriors used. They never revealed everything at once, they kept a layer of mystery. Always you want her addicted. Don't let her decode you fully, let her sense there's more she hasn't touched. Let her know she doesn't own your heart just because she has your attention. That's what drives her wild. It's the fantasy of unlocking the full version of you, of being the one to finally break your shell, to earn what no other woman has reached. When she senses you're holding something back, when you walk away at the peak of connection, when you stay Composed when she expects you to chase, she can't stop thinking, and the best part, this isn't manipulation, it's just not over-investing in someone who hasn't earned full access. You maintain your standard, you keep your world spinning, you let her meet you halfway or not at all, because the moment you become fully available you become forgettable, but when you stay just out of reach you become unforgettable. Comment below and never give all of me, because the men who give everything away instantly they get remembered briefly, but the men who leave her wanting more they live in her mind. Tree number 9. Masculine focus makes her 9. Masculine focus makes her insecure. Insecure. Let's get something straight. A man locked in on his purpose is dangerous, not just to the world but to a woman's emotions, and not in a bad way. See, most men crumble the second they get a little attention. They drop their priorities, they lose momentum, they trade progress for proximity, but not the focused man. The focused man knows his mission comes first, always that kind of energy. It makes her second guesses her place, not because you're treating her poorly but because she knows she's not the center of your universe, and ironically that's what pulls her in deeper. Now let's talk psychology. Women are emotional creatures, they tune into presence, attention, energy. When you're laser focused on your goals you create a gravitational pull that doesn't include her by default. That triggers something primal. She feels the need to win you, to interrupt your focusto, become part of your world, because she knows she's not the core of it. And when a woman senses that your energy isn't wrapped around her 24/7 as she starts to wonder, who is he becoming? Why doesn't he need me like other guys do? What if I lose him to his purpose? That's when insecurity creeps in, and it's not the kind of insecurity that pushes her away, it's the kind that pulls her closer. Because when a man refuses to chase, when he's too busy building, conquering, improving, she starts chasing. Why? Because masculine focus is magnetic. It's the opposite of desperation, it's the opposite of neediness. It's stability, drive, and stoic control wrapped in one frame, and when you carry that you don't have to say a word. Your energy speaks louder than any compliment. Let me paint a real picture. Imagine you're working late on a Friday, she texts, "Miss you." You smile, acknowledge it, and keep grinding. You're not cold, you're just committed. You're not ignoring her, you're pursuing something bigger that sends a stronger message than flowers ever could. She starts thinking, wow, he's not like the others, he's not here waiting on me, he's too busy building a life I want to. Part of that's power, that's masculine discipline. That's how you flip the dynamic. Most guys think the path to her heart is constant reassurance, attention, and showing up at her every whim, but here's the truth. What she wants is a man whose mind she can't fully steal. She wants to feel like she's fighting for a place in your world, not being handed one for free. Now don't twist this, it's not about being distant for no reason, it's not about being emotionally unavailable, it's about being so clear in your vision that she either joins your path or watches you walk it without her. That's the kind of man she respects, that's the kind of man she remembers, that's the kind of man she dreams about when she's alone, because every time she reaches for your attention and you're still focused, she wonders what it would feel like to totally have it. That's what keeps her chasing, that's what makes her stay up at night, that's what creates that unshakable emotional tension that no amount of flirting can replace. So the next time you feel the pull to put her first, ask yourself, is this helping her feel something or helping her feel nothing? Because when your world doesn't revolve around her, she spins harder to get into orbit, and the more she chases your attention, the more invested she becomes. It's a paradox. The more unavailable you are to distraction, the more desirable you become. You don't get there by playing games, you get there by locking in, by being the man who shows up to his vision first and lets women adjust top hat standards. So if you want her wanting more, stay focused, stay grounded, stay in motion, because when your attention is a reward, not a guarantee, she never stops trying to earn it. Comment below, I stay locked in. That one sentence, it separates the men who are chased from the ones who are forgotten. Number 10. Emotional detachment is erotic. 10. Emotional detachment is erotic. Power. Let's get this straight. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you're cold, it doesn't mean you're a jerk, and it doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're in control, and that right there, that's erotic. There's something deeply attractive, almost intoxicating about a man who feels things but isn't ruled by them, a man who can stay centered no matter what storm she brings. That's not indifference, that's power. Now most men get this part wrong. They either try to shut down completely, acting numb and distant, or they do the opposite, getting pulled into every emotional high and low she throws at them. But the man she remembers, the one she obsesses over, he doesn't shut off, he just doesn't lose himself. That's The core of emotional detachment, it's rooted in Stoicism, a philosophy built around mastering your reactions, not denying your emotions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." And when you bring that energy into a romantic dynamic, especially one with a woman who's used to men unraveling around her, it hits different. Think about it: when you don't flinch at her mood swings, when you don't chase her validation, when you can sit with tension and not need to fix it, she starts to feel something deeper. It's not comfort, it's not familiarity, it's tension, and tension is the foundation of seduction. See, most guys rush to comfort a woman every time there's discomfort. They want to be like, they want to prove they're safe, but you're not here to be safe, you're here to be grounded, because when you stand in emotional stillness, she feels unstable in a way she can't resist. Why? Because she's used to power through emotion. She's used to influencing men through highs and lows, but when that doesn't work on you, she gets curious, she gets intrigued, and that curiosity, it becomes obsession. Now let's get specific. Imagine she pulls away, starts testing you, maybe she goes cold, doesn't text for a few hours, wants to see if you'll panic. Most guys, would they double text, send a voice note, try to make her feel better, but you hold the line, you keep doing what you were already doing. That sends a clear message: your peace isn't negotiable. Your confidence isn't up for grabs, and your attention, it's not for sale. And here's the twist: she wants to be the one to break your calm, not because she's malicious but because it tells her she matters. But when you don't give her that control, when you stay emotionally centered, a Venus, she throws sparks. That's what drives her wild, because erotic power isn't just about what you say or do, it's about what you withhold, your reactions, your need to explain, your fear of loss. When she sees none of that, she's hooked, because emotional detachment says, "I want you but I don't need you." And that sentence, even unspoken, speaks louder than any sweet talk ever could. It tells her she's in the presence of a man who doesn't live to please, a man who's already whole, and if she wants to be part of that, she has to rise to his standard. That dynamic is rare, that's why she doesn't forget it, that's why it lingers in her body long after you've walked away, not because you touched her, but because she couldn't touch your emotions unless you allow it. You flipped the game, and now she's chasing something she can't fully grasp. So remember this: when you master emotional detachment, you stop chasing women and start attracting them effortlessly, because no woman stays obsessed with a man who needs her, but she never forgets the man who didn't. That's the real erotic edge, that's the power most men never develop, and the edge you carry when you walk the Stoic path. If this hits, comment, "I hold the power," because the man who does never has to beg, never has to chase, he just stands still while they come to him. That's it, brother. Now you know chasing is weak. Conclusion: attraction is earned, and when you stand in your power, calm, focused, detached, she feels it, she thinks about it, she craves it. But here's the truth: most men will never practice this. They'll keep chasing, keep explaining, keep wondering why she loses interest. You're not like most men, and if you've made it this far, you already know this channel isn't for the average guy, it's for the man building discipline, silence, and strength, the one who plays the long game, the one who walks the Stoic path. So if that's you, subscribe now, hit that button, join the tribe of men who get it, and if you're ready to take it deeper, join the Stoic Brotherhood. Exclusive content, real conversations, no fluff, no games, just power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Stay grounded, stay dangerous, and never forget she chases what she fears losing. Let her chase